get the bed this thing.
Okay. So, hi. So what brings you in today?
I've just been really frustrated with my daughter, and I'm trying to figure out how to deal with it.
What's going on?
Well, I arranged for her to come to California in July and get a dog that she wanted that was ours. And I thought we had certain understandings, but it wasn't anything in writing, and I just don't feel like she's going by what our intent was. And I didn't spell it out, and so now I'm not sure how I should deal with it.
Okay, so what I hear is you're really frustrated with your daughter because she's not sticking to the agreement.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard because we didn't, it was nothing in writing. It was more of what I thought was an understanding. And my husband too, we were both really just kind of frustrated with the situation. I think if we had to do it over again, we wouldn't let her have the dog.
Okay.
So.
So you have the dog already?
She does.
Oh,
She has it in Texas,
Okay, so in July, so just so I understand, so in July, she took the dog with her?
Yeah, she wanted a pug that we had, and so we told her that if she came to California, we would let her take her back home with her to Texas. And so she arranged, she paid her way, but we gave her the dog, and because the dog wasn't getting along well with our other dogs, and so we thought it was a better opportunity for her.
Mm-hmm.
And so we arranged for her to have the dog, but now she has just gone through an entire one after another, other dogs have come in and gone in her house while she's had ours. And the whole reason we gave her Minion is because we felt that Minion needed to be an only.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not happened for her at all. And we thought she understood that was our reason behind letting her go there. And we liked Minion. We love Minion. We would not have chosen to sell her or give her away to anyone else, but she was our daughter, so it was different.
Right. Okay.
So it was first she said she felt guilty because she had taken our dog, and so she felt like she should have rescued a shelter dog. So then she went and got this shelter dog. Well, the shelter dog wasn't really working out, and she kind of didn't want to keep it. And then it ran away, and she's never been able to find it, even though which was a little suspicious, but I just let it go because she had already said she wasn't sure she wanted to keep it, and then it disappeared.
Okay.
And then some friends of hers were trying to help a neighbor who needed to place a dog, so she took that dog in, and that was kind of a problem for a while. And it ultimately ended up going to a shelter because it was being too aggressive. And then recently she's gone and gotten a lab puppy and doesn't seem to understand where that's going to be an issue, because the issue was that Minion had trouble with a bigger dog. And while it's 10 weeks old now, it's not going to stay 10 weeks old. And she lives in an apartment.
Okay. So your frustration is that you thought it was only going to be the one dog.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so does the dog not get along with other dogs?
I don't know, I just am worried about her getting bullied, because this dog gets bigger. Mm-hmm. She likes other little dogs, but we thought that she needed to be in a home where she didn't have to deal with a bigger dog.
Okay.
And I just think that Tiffany's taking on too much by having two dogs by herself in an apartment.
Okay.
And I'm worried about, Minion not having as good a care or what have you.
Okay.
And just, dogs coming and going, all this, it potentially could mean more fleas or disease or,
Okay. So what have you said to her?
Mostly I tried to bite my tongue because I feel like we didn't spell it out enough in front, and offered, mild suggestions to try and help it work when she's been frustrated, because some of the things have not worked, like she's having to potty train this lab in an apartment, and it's seen as difficult, and have just kind of let her to deal with it, because I don't feel like I have a lot of grounds, but I'm still really frustrated.
Okay, so your issue is that you didn't let her know exactly what you wanted.
I know, I thought she understood our intention, but I didn't make any kind of
So you assumed.
I assumed. I didn't say, you have to do this, or this is what we expect you to do. It never occurred to me that she would want more than one dog.
Mm-hmm.
But even right before she came to get the dog, she ended up with a bunch of feral cats that she was that a friend of hers found in their yard, and so they were just trying to get them calm enough to place them. And for a while, I thought, oh man, she's going to keep all these cats and have Minion, but she placed them all before she came to get her, and so we were kind of, phew, okay, we don't have to worry about the cat.
Okay.
But I'm kind of worried she's going to get herself over her head, and then end up having to move, and then she's got more than one dog, or just feel like she's taking on too much. And it's been, this is November, since July, she's had actually four. I forgot there was one other dog. There was a coworker who had a friend of his who had a dachshund that he said he wasn't giving enough attention to and needed a new home, and she offered to keep it long enough to find it a home. So there have been 4 other dogs come and go through her apartment since July.
So I kind of sense that you were pretty attached to Minion.
Oh yeah, we did make, that's the one thing we did say, is if there's any reason you're not keeping her, we want her back. You can't,
So she's kind of like your baby.
Yeah, I know.
And so I totally empathize with that, because it's hard to let dogs go that you've become close to. I can empathize with that. And but I keep thinking, what is your intention with wanting to only have one dog in there? I mean, she seems to be bringing in other dogs. And is that your frustration at that point? That she's bringing other dogs?
I just feel like she's acting really impulsive. They've all been like split decisions, you know what I mean? Like she doesn't think them out.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's frustrated. Like even already, she's had the lab now for a month. She got him at 6 weeks, no shots, whatever, brought him into the house, and is now constantly complaining that she is having trouble housebreaking him, so she's keeping him like locked in the bathroom, or she was keeping him on, she lives in, I've never been there because it's in Texas, but she's had one of those little porch areas outside, and I guess she got in trouble with the management for leaving him out there. They said that wasn't a dog containment area, because she had set it up so that he had like the storage closet. She propped it open was his dog house, because she didn't feel like he was old enough to housebreak.
Mm.
And so then she's like constantly complaining about potty accidents, whatever, and she got really frustrated with Minion the other day. But I think Minion's kind of competing for attention, where she had more behaviors. She's always had more behaviors when there's other dogs around.
Mm-hmm.
Like scratching at doors or what have you. When she's alone, she didn't have any problems with her.
Okay.
So she kind of, so then she gets frustrated with Minion too.
Yeah. So what do you think you can change?
Nothing. That's what's upsetting me.
How old is your daughter?
25.
Yeah. So yeah, how hard that is to not approve of what they're doing, but to have to let go.
It is. It's hard. It's like, I said to
they're adults.
She's, she's employed, and she's going to school, and she's not doing anything immoral. So it's like, how do I complain other than the fact that this was our dog,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have to kind of set that aside, but it's still really, my husband and I aren't having strife against each other, but it's
you're on the same page?
Yeah, but
kind of what I hear you saying.
Yeah, but it's a constant conversation of our frustration that we had wished that we had not done this.
So what is it ultimately that you want?
I want her to settle down, I guess, and just, be able to enjoy having a dog. I don't know why she needs to keep, but I can't control her, and that's frustrating to me, because I'd like to be able to just say, knock it off.
So why do you think you can't voice your feelings to her?
I just am trying to let her be an adult. She took a long time to really, she wasn't real assertive like as a teenager and willing to step up, and so now she's, acting adult, and she's taking care of her financial needs and stuff. I feel like I need to not. And so it's more of a decision than that I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? I don't know that it's going to be. So, I don't know, I hope it's not too passive aggressive. If she, complains about the puppy, I said, yeah, well, that's why I don't want to housebreak the puppy. Those kind of things. Because I just kind of let her find it out on her own.
Right. Which is hard to be a parent, to have to step back. So, I totally get it.
I want to say, I told you so.
Yeah, but would that be more damaging?
Right, I feel like it's just going to close the door, but it's still a constant frustration to me.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think that Minion is being mistreated?
Not by Tiffany, I don't think so. I think she's the favorite dog right now.
Okay. So you're okay with her being there?
Yeah, for the most part that way. I just am concerned that Con is the lab is going to be too rough with her as he gets bigger. I mean, he's already wanting to play pretty rough with her, and I know Tiffany has like had times where she felt like she needed to not have her harness on her because he uses that as an advantage and stuff. And he's only 10 weeks old, and so I'm like, what's going to happen as he, you know, they're close to the same size right now, but that's not going to last for long. So long term, it does concern me that he might be, you know, other than labs have it, he has that going for. I think they have a pretty decent disposition. You know what I mean? They're not so much just pit bull in there or something. You know?
Yeah.
Not to bash pit bulls for people that like them, but you know. But you know what I'm saying? Labs tend to be. He's just
easygoing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much, other than the fact she lives in an apartment, so she has to dog park, that kind of things, to potty him. I don't know how much socializing he's getting there, you know what I mean, if he might be aggressive just out of being too rough.
Okay. So I just want to clarify, I'm not really, I'm a little confused. So are you more frustrated that your dog is not getting the care you thought he would get, or is your frustration that your daughter is bringing more dogs in? I kind of hear both.
I'm frustrated because I feel like, even though we didn't spell it out, I feel like she should have that she understood what our intention was, and that she shouldn't have taken her if she wasn't willing to.
Okay, so you want your daughter to just know what you were thinking?
Well, we had conversations about why we were making that decision, that it was difficult. We had a German Shepherd at the time, and that was causing difficulty between them with not getting along and aggression, and so it was so maybe it wasn't getting as much attention because we were trying to keep them apart all the time. And so, you know, not so much the little dogs, that was just kind of, but now that she's gone with a dog that's potentially going to be bigger, I'm like, I feel like at that choice, she knew that was our concern, that Minion had problems with having with a bigger dog around. And she's already has voiced it, Con being 10 weeks old, that he's kind of rough with her and stuff like that. And, you know, she says, well, Minion can jump on the bed, and he can't, so she will stay up there. Well, just today, today he learned how to jump on the bed.
Yeah, they grow.
So I don't think she leaves them unattended at this point together. But, I mean, that's because he's a puppy and can't be trusted. And, you know, like he chewed through the cord on her brand new Mac that, like, 2 days after she got it, which was an expensive lesson for her.
Yeah.
Like $80, I think, at Best Buy to get a new cord.
Labs are chewers.
Yeah, and he's in an apartment. I'm like, what are you thinking? You know?
So if you could have a conversation with her, what would you say to her?
I don't know. It's like I'm torn between letting her be an adult and the fact that, you know, she didn't get these two dogs somewhere else. She, you know, I mean, there's part of me that, like, I just don't know what good it would be. Would like to say, you know, this wasn't our plan. This wasn't what we had in mind when we sent her to you. If we'd known this, we wouldn't have sent her. But it's not like I can drive over there next week and pick her up then. So her reasoning behind getting the lab is that she feels unsafe in her apartment and that he's going to be the watchdog later. And that's her rationale. She about a year ago had a previous apartment broken into, and so I know that part of it is that fear. She wasn't home when it happened, but it was pretty upsetting to come home and have glass everywhere. And,
well, yeah, that sounds upsetting.
It was just her and another young woman that lived there, and she had been there just a short time before, had left to go study at Padera or whatever, I don't know, Starbucks, one of the places, and came back to this.
Wow.
So, you know, it was upsetting to me from California.
Yeah, I was going to say, how scary for you as mom. Yeah.
Yeah, but so she has this idea that
you can't take care of your baby, you know, so is that a hard thing for you with them growing up, with your kids growing up and having to let go? Has that been?
It was hard to not be able to comfort her afterwards. I mean, at 25, she would have been on her own even if she was here, I think, but because she'd been out of the house since she was 20. But to not be there and be able to comfort her when she was, I just I think that the dog gives a bit of a false security to me. I don't think that, you know, a dog that's in a crate in an apartment is really going to protect her, but, you know.
So, I'm trying to get to what you need to do is, okay, so you need, your main thing is your frustration with
Yeah,
your daughter, and then you and your husband are having these conversations, that you're both frustrated. So what would it take to not be frustrated?
I don't know. That's why I brought it up, because I just don't know how I let go of it
Okay.
and let her. I just.
So what's stopping you from letting go?
I don't
Is
know.
it the dog, or is it the parenting?
I don't know. I guess it could be just part of the, having an adult child thing. Because I didn't tell him why, but I had a conversation with my dad recently where I said, Dad, this was supposed to get easier, and it's not. Tell me that it does eventually. And he laughed at me, and he's 72, so.
So that wasn't very encouraging, was it?
Because I said to him, I didn't explain the whole dog thing. I just said, she's not doing anything immoral. She's taking care of herself.
Making her own decisions.
Yeah, I said that sometimes, and he just laughed. He just sat there and laughed. I was like, don't laugh at me.
So just being a parent is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought,
Having to step back is hard.
It would be easier to be up in the middle of the night with an ear infection sometimes,
Because you're in control.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah, you have control over, okay, I'm going to take them to the doctor, or,
right.
but
yeah.
when they're older, making their own choices,
Yeah.
sounds like you don't agree with everything that she's choosing.
Well, and she starts talking about her apartment smelling because of the dog, and I'm thinking, oh man, what's going to happen when she moves out of that apartment? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So do you just listen to her when she says those things? Do you give her advice? What do you do?
I really have struggled with it and tried really hard not to advise her unless she asks for advice.
Okay, that's
good. But I do
that's
tend
good.
to say things like, well, that's why I don't want a puppy, and I don't know, because I just feel like if she's not asking for my advice, it's not gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she is frustrated with a particular dog behavior, if I think I can offer some kind of advice, then I have.
Yeah.
But.
So I'm still having trouble just pinpointing what exactly it is. Like if you could say to her, I feel frustrated when, what would you say to her?
I don't know. I guess I just don't know that it's going to accomplish anything. That's why I haven't done it. I think I would say, I'm frustrated that you've chosen to get a dog that's going to be so much bigger because because the reason I don't want to say because it would be better to say an I statement, that we decided to give her to you because she was having trouble with a big dog.
Okay.
And I'm concerned that she could get hurt, even unintentionally. Okay. The shepherd wasn't trying to hurt her on purpose, but she was just too rough with her.
Okay. So if you said that to her, what do you think? What would her response be?
I think she'd be defensive at first, or she'd go one way or the other. She tends to either be defensive about something like that, and like the I'm an adult and I can do what I want kind of defensive, or or maybe bring up the safety issue of why she thinks that or possibly, well, this is going to be different because I'm going to train him different. And she doesn't,
Okay.
And then, but later, I think she would be hurt, because she doesn't like to be disapproved of. I think verbally she'd be defensive, but I think it would hurt her feelings. And it's hard for me to have that kind of conversation with her now that she's already done it. If she had discussed it before getting the dog, it would have been easier to say, well, this is a concern to me. But I think she did it on purpose. I think she knows that,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're feeling frustrated and your husband's feeling frustrated. So what can you do to ease that frustration?
I don't know. That's the problem.
Let's brainstorm. What have you done before?
Well, when she got Stormy was the second dog she got, and that was I knew. And this is I'm definitely sure that she didn't think we would approve, because she didn't tell us she'd gotten him. I only discovered that she'd gotten this, and she's a big Facebooker. Multiple times a day kind of postings kind of person, until I happened to notice on Instagram which her dad doesn't even have Instagram, that there was this other dog. And so it wasn't like, hey, Mom, look, I got another dog. It was like it was a side note thing.
Okay.
And I told her dad, I said, we've got another dog, and I'm not saying anything until she bothers to tell us, you know. And we waited quite a while. I mean, it was a couple weeks before she did, and that's not like her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like usually, hey, guess what I did today kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a lot of, she's not a big talk on the phone kind of person, but she's a big texter, and she was texting me that right before I walked in here today, and
Mm-hmm.
it was really unusual for her to wait a couple weeks to tell me that.
Okay, so what do you think the reason for her not telling you?
I think she didn't want me to express disapproval. That's my guess. I never asked.
Okay, so do you think that she assumed you would not approve?
I think so, because I don't know why else she would hide it.
Okay.
And to me, that was hiding it. The fact that she didn't put it on Facebook when she puts, you know, I had Pandora for lunch on Facebook, you know.
Yeah. So why? Okay, so I want to encourage you to reach a point where you can talk to her. You know, is there something you can say to her that can to ease it? You say, you know, I'm not mad, I'm just concerned with that, you know, because you should be able to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of, I mean, is that kind of what you want to do? Do you want to be able to talk to her? Or I don't want to put words in your mouth. So
it's hard because I'm like, you know, what am I going to ask her to do? Get rid of him? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what am I asking her to do in talking to her? I don't feel like I should.
Do you feel heard? Do you want her to hear your feeling expression, or do you want to just be able to take your frustration and just put it aside? What is it that you're aiming for? What is it that would make you feel better?
I don't know. That's the frustration, because it's like I wouldn't say, you know, well, go take this dog to the pound. You know, at this point, it's too late.
No.
I feel like it's too late. You know what I mean? There's part of me wonders if she's going to, because she's already frustrated with the house breaking and everything, whether she's just going to, in fact, my husband and I kind of joked about that. You want to take a wager on how long she keeps him? You know? So I'm like, is it going to just work its way out? And so I think we've just kind of not engaged on purpose just to kind of see how it pans out.
Okay.
But
what's happening inside of you when you do that?
I just am frustrated because I still feel like, you know.
So you're still feeling the emotions of frustration.
Yeah, like today she had a picture on Instagram where Con was obviously pulling on Minion's harness, like, and Minion was looked like, save me, you know. I mean, it wasn't anything. And I was like, okay, he's about the same size right now, but what happens later, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is actually what I posted on it. Mom, save me.
How
passive aggressive is that?
And how helpful do you think that was?
She would laugh. She'd think that was funny, so it wouldn't be, you know.
Okay.
Because she would agree that it was, you know. She's told me that in the past, sometimes when they play, she purposely takes the harness off just so that he doesn't have the upper hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because she sometimes treats him like it's her and Minion together, and Con's just going to, like, Minion and her in the castle, and Con's going to be the knight to rescue them versus being, you know what I mean, apart. Mm-hmm. Like he's a tool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. So I get. Let's see. I still hear the frustration in your voice, and I totally can understand that. But I think there's still that fine line. So, I think maybe if you pretend that she's here and you have a conversation with her, and tell her how you're feeling. Can you try that? Is that you actually can say the words to her that you want her to hear?
I guess I just don't know what I'm trying to accomplish, though. Do you think it would do any good?
I think it's always good to talk about what we're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you tell her your intention is not to hurt her or to judge her, but it sounds like your intention is you want to make sure that dog is cared for maybe the way you would have taken care of it. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if that's. Are you Are you just concerned with that you gave up this dog? You know, I mean, trying not to put words in your mouth. Like, I'm like,
I liked Minion, you know.
Bart, go.
And Bart, I like Bart too.
Yeah. You want him
And
to be an apartment dog?
I think, and I really think Tiffany legitimately loves Minion. I don't think that's an issue. Like,
Okay.
you know, she was really frustrated with her the other day. Poor Minion. She, I can't remember how it started. Oh, I think she took her out to go to the bathroom, and then she found some bone, and then wouldn't come to Tiffany when she called her, which got her into trouble, so she had to spend time in her crate when they went inside. And then when she finally got out, she was so excited to get out that she spilled Tiffany's lunch all over the floor, which made Tiffany mad, so she had to spend time in the crate again.
Aww.
And then she got sick because she ate part of the lunch, so it made her throw up.
The joy of owning a dog.
So other than that day, most of the time everything I hear is positive.
Yeah.
But I told her, I said, I think, because she said she wanted, it was nighttime, and she said, Minion usually sleeps in her bed. She goes, I feel bad, I want Minion. I said, at this point, Minion doesn't know why she's in the crate. She just knows she's had a really bad day. And I said, I think it's just been a domino effect. So then Tiffany went and let her out.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were both
good.
And they were both happier.
Yeah, yeah.
But I could just see that it was like boom, boom, boom. So I don't think that my point was is that, you know, I'm more concerned that Tiffany's not aware enough, you know, so.
Okay. So again, what would you say to her?
I think I'd say, Tiffany, I'm a little frustrated because your dad and I were hoping that Minnie would be in a home where she was the only dog, or possibly even with another smaller dog, but she was having a lot of problems with Grace, and when we asked you if you were interested in having her because you said you were looking for a pug, I thought you understood that. And so now I'm concerned that you have Con and that he's already rough with her and he's going to be a lot bigger than her when he's done growing. He's only 10 weeks old right now.
Okay.
And how are you going to make sure that she doesn't get hurt?
Okay. So there's your frustration, is how, you know, you don't want the dog to get hurt.
Yeah.
You don't, I hear that you don't, it's not that you want to tell her what to do. Your frustration more is out of concern for the dog and what the dog's needs are. Am I wrong?
No, yeah, you know, it's like.
And you feel like there's nothing you can do about it.
Especially because she's so
Can
far
I just
away.
have my baby back? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me have him back. And so I can really appreciate that you're thinking of her feelings. I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to be able to feel that you can be heard. It's okay to have your opinions. I think as our kids grow, that our kids don't always have to take our advice, but you still have the right to voice your opinion. So you don't have to keep everything inside. It's good that you think about what you want to say, so you don't come across, you know, that you get your point across. You don't say it out of anger, but I think it is okay to voice your opinion to your adult children. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I go back to whether or not it's going to accomplish anything. You know what I mean? I don't know if it will make her think. It'll just shut her down. Maybe I won't have to listen to the complaining.
But does it? I'm worried about how it makes you feel. Does it help that frustration?
I don't know. Maybe.
By just being heard.
Yeah.
About doesn't mean they're going to take your advice or.
I don't even know what I'd advise at this point.
Well, not even advice. It's just your wishes for the dog that you gave her.
Mm-hmm.
I think she needs. Do you feel that that you want her to know how you feel, or
I guess I assume
you're not sure?
I'm kind of assuming she already has a good idea.
Okay, but
so
unless it's fact and you've actually told her, you can't assume that she knows what you're thinking.
No, you're right. Yeah, 10 seconds.
Oh, that was good. So we need to finish up our session. And so for your homework, do you think that maybe you can practice telling her what you want her to, or write her a letter, or how do you think you could communicate your feelings to her?
Well, in the past, usually communicating with Tiffany in writing is the best. She has an auditory processing disorder,
Okay.
and she doesn't always hear things the way they're said. And I'm not trying to be mean. It's an issue that she has.
It's a fact.
So important things, even when she was a teenager, and she hadn't been diagnosed. We didn't realize that was the issue. We have found that she is better off reading them, and so she can reread them. So I would probably have to write it out to her.
Okay. So I don't know if it keeps recording when it
I
shuts
don't
off
know.
or not. So, okay, so let's finish up today, and why don't you go ahead and write her a letter, and then next time we'll work on if you actually want to send it,
Okay.
or if it helped just writing it. Sometimes just getting your feelings out is enough.
Well, that's probably better than when you write, an email in anger and push send before.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, can I take that back? Yeah. Yeah. So, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay. So, I didn't take any notes. My pen wouldn't work.
Oh, no, I didn't realize that.
I was like, look it. It was like.
But it is kind of, you have it, so.
Yeah.
It's right there, so.
My pen went right.
So you don't know if it's got the right time. Oh, you're still recording.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I was like,
You're going to stop it.
well, you're going to record. You want me to? Yeah, I guess I